And welcome back to the 2022-23 Big West Men's Basketball Preview Show, brought to you by BuyB1.com. And now we look at the team that came in third in the Big West Coaches Poll preseason. Richie, the Beach from Long Beach State, last year's regular season champions and the Big West Championships runners-up. They went to the NIT, lost to BYU, but they had a relatively good season, more than likely disappointed that they weren't in the NCAA tournament, but still went to the postseason in the NIT, and they're looking for other big things this year.
They lost to Cal State Fullerton in the Big West Championship game by one single point. And I know that that's still eating them up to this day, but they did a great job of changing their style. They had a lot of injuries at the beginning of last season. They decided to play 5 perimeter players. They called it positionless basketball, where they would switch all ball screens. And they're looking to potentially do that same style this year, but they feel like they've got some more size. They feel like they can do that with some of the bigger players that they brought on board this year.
Well, Joel Murray coming back. He had 24 in that championship game in Henderson, Nevada last year against Cal State Fullerton. Jadon Jones, the reigning defensive player of the year, he comes back. Abubakar Traore, who was a standout freshman, he comes back. They've got a lot of returning firepower.
These are 3 returning starters, and Coach Monson credits these 3 guys for changing the culture of their program. They weren't where they wanted to be until last year, for the last few years, and now he credits Murray, Jones, and Traore as guys that have really changed the culture here. So Joel Murray got a lot of big responsibilities. He was almost 17 points per game last year at the point guard spot, but he was sharing that job last year with Colin Slater, who was a first-team all-conference guy. He's undersized, got a deep three-point shot, but it's going to really be all on his shoulders this year. Jadon Jones, you mentioned him, Big West Defensive Player of the Year, excellent three-point shooter. But, Coach Monson says he's got to do a little bit more than just hit threes this year. We got to find other ways for him to be productive on the offensive end. And Traore is a guy that really needs to kind of improve a little bit of that mid-range that he has. But he is one of 5 players in the nation last year that had multiple 20 or more rebound games. It's 6'5", going up against the trees in the conference. He was able to get multiple games of 20 or more rebounds, and rebounding wins championships, and they won the regular season last year.
Well, things start in your own end. It starts with defense. Obviously, you've got all sport teams. But what do you think Dan Monson's going to do this year in terms of adjusting anything, or will he stick with the same game plan that he's been successful with?
He's been around a long time. I mean, former head coach at 2 other schools that have had a lot of success. So it wouldn't surprise me that if he had to change things midway through the year, he will. But I do feel like he feels like they've brought in some really good athleticism, some versatility, brought in some guys, Division I transfers like everybody else has, but he's really filled some of those voids with needing size. Will they change their style? Every team goes into the season one way, and just depending on how it goes, they decide if they're going to stick with that way or change it to whatever works for them. So adjustments are key, and he'll certainly do that if need be.
Well, Dan Monson's seen a lot. He has been a head coach for 26 years overall. He has 407 wins overall, so that's saying something. And he'll say something to our Molly Sullivan about the Beach, Long Beach State, when we come back.
The B1 Performance Patch elevates physical functions by transforming carbs into glucose used to fuel the body. Don't compete without it. Visit buyb1.com or on social media at B1Patch.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at Ticketsmarter.com.
The Big West is back in Las Vegas. Don't miss the 2023 Hercules Tires Big West Basketball Championships, presented by the Hawaiian Islands, March 7th through the 11th at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. Catch the pulse-pounding action as 20 men's and women's teams battle to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Get the best seats in the house at longbeachstate.com/tickets or call 562-985-4949.
What a finish! For Long Beach State, head coach Dan Monson has been coaching the Beach for 16 seasons now. Got high hopes and hopes to return as at least the regular season champions and have his sights set on a Big West championship and another NCAA tournament appearance for sure. Dan Monson and Molly Sullivan had a conversation that went like this.
So listen, looking at everything, you've got a trio of starters looking to repeat as the regular season champions. They're not the only ones, right, Coach? How'd you get better this offseason?
I don't think you get better by changing things. You get better by the guys that are returning. And as you said, it's going to start with those three guys because they single-handedly changed the culture of the program last year. Jadon Jones had been here a year, but Abubakar Traore and Joel Murray came in here and really changed what Long Beach State basketball used to be like and the expectations and just doing all the little things. And so those three hopefully will filter down to these new guys, and so far so good. If your three new returners are hitting every line, if they're on time, if they're going to every class, if they're doing the right things, usually the new people will follow. And we've been feel pretty good about that so far. That those three have set a groundwork for hopefully Long Beach State basketball and the culture of it to stay as it was last year.
You speak of culture, Coach, and that's a term that perhaps we bounce around too much in our business on the side of the lines. The son of a coach, and not just any coach, the respect that you have earned runs deep. Speak a little bit on your philosophy and the type of student athlete you want in your program.
Well, this has been a lot of years. I don't even want to add them up. It's 30 some, and I think 25 or 6 as a head Division I coach. And I think culture and coaching, it's different every year. And the good coaches adapt to the student athlete because we had it going here, and won the league 3 straight years and got better players and got worse. And I know how valuable it is. I know how important it is. And we even take every Monday, we call it Personal Growth Mondays, and dedicate those days to the culture of the program and to the way that you want to run your program. And it's totally different than the way my dad ran his programs, and he was very successful, and totally different than I ran them in the 90s or 2000 and had some success with. The culture in the United States and in Long Beach and everywhere has changed throughout the years, and so has the culture of our program. And you have to make those demands and keep changing to make sure that you get it to where you want. And I think it's as much to do with that as it is the X's and O's and the things that go on the court.
When you look at the core of your team and your returning players, how will you look for each one of them to take a step forward this season? When you watch the tape, where do you point to first?
Well, I point to those 3 returning guys. I think all 3 of them, had great years last year, but need to be better for us to be better this year. I think Abubakar Traore came in as a wing. He was struggling shooting the ball, and we lost 3 or 4 guys with injuries and other circumstances. In one practice, I looked down and we had like 3 bigs and one end of the court when we broke into bigs and guards, and I think 9 guards at the other end. So I said, "Come here, I want to talk to you," in a half court. And I said, "See all the guys down here at your end? Look at how many we have at the other end." And he said, "You want me to go rebound a coach?" And I said, "Yeah, could you?" He said, "I like to rebound. I will do that for you." And probably changed our season, just that mentality to do whatever you can to help a team, and played inside out of position and had 25 rebounds in a league game last year. And Joel Murray's no different. Joel Murray came in and was a prolific scorer in Division II and scored well for us, but struggled sometimes at the point, and Cullen Slater and him kind of shared the duties of the ball handling and the point guard responsibilities last year, and it worked out really well. But he doesn't have a Cullen Slater next to him this year. It's all his responsibility to run this team. It's no doubt it's his team this year, and so he's going to have to step forward. And I don't think Jadon Jones is any shock to anybody that he's a 3-point shooter, and people are going to drive him off the line this year, and he's going to have to do more than just catch and shoot threes. So those three have to lead by improving and making their games more versatile, and I think all three have done that and are worked hard at it. But we got to get out on the court and do it now.
And you look at those front court additions. Gosh, they certainly passed the eye test here. What do you like from them?
Well, I like their athleticism and their versatility. One thing when we went out, because we played 5 guards last year and started switching all ball screens and being really, positionless, we want to stay that way. And we got some guys that we feel we can still do that with, but have some more size than we had last year. Chase Polynice is a good 6'10", 6'11". The other Troy Ori, Lucina, a good 6'8" or 9", and probably 230, 240. And they were two, when we measured their 40-yard dash, were two of the fastest guys on the team. So along with our freshmen, those three, athletically, their speed and quickness will give us some versatility to play some bigs and still, quote unquote, play small ball.
The return of A.J. George specifically suffered a dagger, right, in the preseason last year, season-ending injury. Your view and your assessment of what you've seen from him early here.
Well, I'm just a big fan of A.J. George. He was our freshman that we thought was going to be the most impactful last year before he went down. When you're a good player and you're a good kid and you work hard, you have a chance to be good. And I think this team has guys that work hard, that are good players, that are good people. And so I think we have a chance to be good. And A.J. George kind of epitomizes that. He's still he's not the player he was a year ago at this time. It was a very severe injury to his shoulder that the rehab has taken, 8-9 months. But I think he's does everything you ask. He plays hard and gives us another guy that can go out and do the things you ask him to do that you trust. It's very fun as a coach and very rewarding.
Let's zoom in on number 3, shall we? Your son Maddox on the team.
How do you? We're talking about? What secret weapon is 3? I don't even know who that is.
Here we go. Roll the tape, Coach. Having your son on the team, it's bigger than basketball.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. It's just a father-son experience that I'm emotional talking about. I never dreamed that they would ever come about, because both my sons were good high school players, but not Division I players. But it's really great to be able to see him every day at practice and see how much better he's gotten. And he's a valuable role player for this team, because you need guys to push guys every day. And I don't know if he'll ever get off that bench, but I enjoy having him on there. And I got my older son McGuire, and they both have grown up in the program, and they've grown up living and dying every game. And now, is him being a graduate assistant and coming in and working for nothing, and getting his master's, and Maddox plugging away as a freshman down there on the end of the totem pole. It's really it is a cool experience for a father that is once in a lifetime, and I don't take it for granted at all as a father.
Well, you better believe that our Big West cameras will be ready when Maddox receives the nod from Coach. Most certainly.
I hope we're way ahead, not way behind, because there's only 2 scenarios.
Fair enough. Listen, you've got 4 children with your lovely wife, 2 daughters. My last question here is just in terms of the family that you've built with the program. Where do you go from here? You've seen it all. You've done it all. You've been on the biggest stage. What's going to be a success to you when we meet again in the spring at the Big West Basketball Championships down the street here in Henderson? What's a success to Coach?
Well, it has to be an opportunity in the NCAA tournament. I say that every year, that Long Beach State is a great program in this league and needs to compete to go to the NCAA tournament every year, or it's not a success. Last year, though, I felt like it was a success, but because we won the league and we were picked at 7th or 8th or whatever it was in the league. Unfortunately, the championship game in the tournament will be one that I don't forget ever. And I think most of our players won't, because, our goal was to go to the NCAA tournament, and to have the ball twice in the last minute and not get a shot up either time was just something that haunts a coach. You got to do a better job. And it doesn't matter, because I have the energy and the drive to reconcile last year and to get us over the hump and to get us to the NCAA tournament. And I think we have an opportunity to do that as far as the personnel we have and the character of our kids, but we've got to go do that. And that would be the only, coming off of last year, now we set the bar higher and back where we had it in the past. And the only, a success is going to be is if we get to that NCAA tournament.
We always appreciate your time, Coach. Best of luck this season.
The Big West is back in Las Vegas. Order your tickets today for the 2023 Hercules Tires Big West Basketball Championships, presented by the Hawaiian Islands, March 7th through the 11th at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. Don't miss a minute of pulse-pounding action as 20 men's and women's teams battle to punch their ticket to the next level. Get the best seats in the house at longbeachstate.com/tickets or call 562-985-4949.
The B1 Performance Patch elevates physical functions by transforming carbs into glucose used to fuel the body. Don't compete without it. Visit buyb1.com or on social media at B1Patch.
The word malama translates to taking care. We malama the land that feeds us. All of that energy that's being put in the ground gets transferred into food. It allows us as a people to thrive as well.
Learn how you can malama Hawaii at gohawaii.com/malama.
Sometimes faster isn't always better. Like when you're getting a tattoo. Or saying I love you on the first date. Or putting together certain Swedish furniture.
But when it comes to getting in and out of the airport, faster is always better. And at Ontario International Airport, you can have a stress-free experience from the curb to the gate. It's the least we can do.
The Big West is back in Las Vegas. Don't miss the 2023 Hercules Tires Big West Basketball Championships, presented by the Hawaiian Islands, March 7th through the 11th at the Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. Catch the pulse-pounding action as 20 men's and women's teams battle to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Get the best seats in the house at longbeachstate.com/tickets or call 562-985-4949.
As we continue our look at Long Beach State, Richie, we inch a little closer to the start of the men's basketball season. What is the biggest strength, in your opinion, that Long Beach State has heading into the year?
I think they got a little confidence and swagger, to be honest with you. I mean, they ran the table last year in the league, had a couple of losses, a handful of losses, but they still won the league, and they have that confidence there. But they've always been very athletic. They've always had versatile players. They've always had a lot of length, and they've improved on that. And they're going to be led by those three guys that changed the culture of the program: Jadon Jones, Abubakar Traore, and of course, Joel Murray. So you've got a system that works, something that clicked for this group last year, and you've got three good players to kind of anchor this program going into trying to repeat and potentially get all the way to the NCAA tournament next year.
And looking for more exciting moments, Jadon Jones with one of the more exciting moments last year in the Big West semifinals with a buzzer beater to beat UC Santa Barbara. So we'll see what happens with Long Beach State as we are through number 3. Who are in the top 2? We'll talk about the team that checked in number 2 on the Big West coaches poll when we come back.